Hey everyone, and welcome back to our series learning the key of D major on the fretboard of the mandolin. This is, I believe, lesson number 5 in our series on D. If you don't know the D scale, I invite you to go back to lesson 1 and learn that. It's pretty straightforward, and at least learn it in one octave, ascending and descending. Now, as you learn to play different styles of music and you learn to start improvising, I think one of the first things that's helpful in learning how to improvise is learning some variations on the D scale. And what that means is just taking those same notes that are in the D scale and sort of arranging them in another format that's just sort of musical. And for example, I'll play a variation here on the D scale that you may have heard before, but we'll just play it for you. It just goes. Pretty straightforward there. Again, you're just working your way up by 4 notes and then going back, not to the root note, but to the second, and working your way up like this. There's 4 notes. Then I go to the second note of the scale. Go up 4 notes. Then I start at the third note of the scale. Then the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. I get all the way up there. Then I'll do the 7. I guess rounds it out. If you'd like, I invite you over to my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MyBluegrassRomance. I've got all these tabbed out. Sometimes it's easier to see them in front of you, but definitely we'll just go through 3 or 4 variations here today. So we just did that one ascending. I'd invite you to also learn it descending. So start up top this time and work your way backwards. 4 notes, then go to the next note down, which is a 7. Then the 6th note, 5th, 4th, 3rd. Now I changed the ending just to bring myself back to the root. That sounds again like this. And once I learned that both ascending and descending, I would string it all together so you get something that's just sort of a little bit longer of an exercise. And I would strive to play this as musically as possible, right? We're playing music, that's our end goal. So, you know, if you find yourself kind of playing choppy, like, you know, try to go as slow as you need to try to make it sound like music. So. So yeah, there you go. Now, variation number 2, again, some of these, I don't know if variation 1 or 2 or 3, which one's harder or easier than the next, but they're all just sort of different. You know, you might find one fits really well under your fingers. I use these for warm-ups too before I'm going to play a show or something like that. But variation 2 that I came up with is just like this. You're just basically skipping a note. So you go from the first note of the scale to the 3rd note, and then you go to the 2nd, to the 4th, 3rd to the 5th, 4th to the 6th. You can kind of hear it. 5th to the 7th, 6th to the 8th, 7, 2, and then back to the 8th, the octave. Let me play that again. So. And then you guessed it, the next variation is to do that backwards. So let me play that whole thing both ascending and descending. there's not a lot of magic to these. Like once you've learned a bunch, what'll end up happening is when you go to play like, you know, in a jam and it comes to your break, you may have played these scales enough times where that just sort of seeps its way in to your playing overall. It's like going for a run or lifting weights. It's going to help you just do everyday tasks because you're becoming more athletic. And that's the same thing here with you're learning more dexterity with your hands, working together, again, being musical about it. And you'll just find that if you practice these each time in the major keys like that you play in bluegrass, like D, C, G, A, for example, it'll just start sort of working its way into your playing. So variation 3, trying to think about this one is how to explain it. I'll just play it, I guess. Yeah. So I'm playing 3 notes and then going back down, and then 3 notes. I messed it up. Let me just play it one time through again, slow. And then the variation of that descending would sound like. They're awfully close to one another. Again, it's all the same notes, just sort of putting them in a different pattern. So variation 4, I'll do one more here tonight. Variation number 4 is kind of a combination of those previous ones. I like this one. It sounds kind of musical, so I'll just go ahead and play this one. Well, I think I ended it wrong. There it is. And then playing that descending. Again, have fun with these. Take this video and slow it down if that's what it takes to sort of like hear your way through them. If you like to learn them by ear, or just rewind it a bunch and watch them. But again, try to work on these a little bit each day. And I think if you do this as a warm-up, maybe a different variation each day, you'll find that these become, sort of, again, seep their way into your playing. And if you can't really screw these up. So like if you're playing something like, you can make up your own, really. I mean, as long as you're striving to stay in the key of D. Like, for example, if I play the root note, skip the second and play the third and the fourth, I could play something like this. And then go to the second. Skip the third there and go to the fourth and fifth. Then play the third. Skip the fourth and go 5, 6. See, I just made one up right there. It would sound like this. I could do that same thing working my way backwards. I might have done it wrong, but you get the idea. You can sort of come up with your own patterns and practice those as D scale variations. So again, have fun with it. If you like the tab, again, head on over to patreon.com/MyBluegrassRomance. I love the support. I've got all sorts of stuff on there. I'm trying to post new stuff every week. And for my Patreon members, I also offer individuals will send me either video or audio recordings of their playing, and we kind of have a little dialogue over email or whatever. and kind of talk about stuff that can improve your playing. So have fun with it. Thanks.